Well, here we go then, everybody. Our next match is ready on our main stage, and it's our first look at the new look Optic Gaming roster. Gen.G going to be their opponents, and we talk about storylines, we talk about all of these things normally just before we get into a match, but we were talking before we got onto the stage, and we were kind of like, there's just one word really to talk about with Optic, and it's win. That's it. Win is everything for this roster. It was put together for one reason. Winning is everything for them.
It really is, and let's not just forget, they didn't assemble this roster to win a World Championship. They disassembled a World Championship winning roster to make sure nobody else won this year. That's what they want to do. We already saw them at the K-On preview, going 6-6 in games up against Shopify Rebellion. Everything to play for, maybe a little bit of a chip on their shoulder as well, coming in second place there despite splitting games at the season preview. So as you say, this will be their official HCS 2025 LAN debut. And we're going to get to see them go up against the artists formerly known as Reversal Perfy, now a part of Gen.G.
Yeah, Gen.G are going to be their opponents, coming off the back of a loss to Nemesis 3-1. I think Nemesis took that series, and Nemesis certainly a shark in the water for a lot of teams when it comes to this tournament, but we have to focus on Optic Gaming. This is the Optic Gaming arena. This is their home ground, and they are desperate, absolutely desperate for a championship, and there is no better place to get it done in front of their home crowd, in front of the green wall, and to start the season by lifting a trophy.
That's exactly it. And interestingly, the first test here is going to be Bomb Aquarius, and if you listen to the Optic podcast over the past few weeks, you've heard that those new game types, specifically the Bomb game types, not the strongest in the Optic arsenal yet. So this is going to be a chance to look at a lower-seeded opponent in Gen.G. How do they look coming out of the rip here? Not just their debut on LAN in official play, but also how do they look on Bomb? And also, we're going to keep an eye on their Slayers. As we saw at the K-On Invitational, they allowed themselves to get down in those matches, sometimes down by 8, 10, even close to 15 kills, and even winning some of those. But for Optic, a key part of their early season will be making sure they are not finding themselves 5 or more down in a Slayer. Keep things within reason, and they have a very good chance to look very strong in these early series.
Fascinating series layout as well. That game number 3, Forbidden captured the flag, and we've seen that be a game type that can go one way or the other. Sometimes, you know, you look at CTFs as being maps which always favor the favorite because of the coordination that needs to go into it, but CTF Forbidden, with the pace it can be played at, with the sniper rifles available, Gen.G might be looking and thinking, if we can get there with that series still alive, then maybe we give ourselves a chance. But it's a tall order for Gen.G. They will know that, and for Optic, we've already said they have to come out here, not just win this series, but they have to 3-0, and they have to make a statement.
And I tell you what, this Greenwall fan base is pretty ferocious here. The second you have anyone from Gen.G on the screen, the boos come out almost the same as when they touch either the ball or the puck in professional sports. They don't want to see anyone else on the screen. And I think this Greenwall fan base is ready to go.
Well, for Gen.G, what can you get out of this series? How long can you send this series? How deep can you send this series? And can you ask the same questions that maybe Cloud9 asked of Shopify Rebellion a little bit earlier on in this tournament? I think it's about keeping those games close, winning those individuals, and I think, most importantly, trying to use what's on the map to your advantage. Do not let Renegade get hot. In the same way we were talking about Frosty a little bit earlier. If you can keep a bandit-on-bandit game type, and keep the power weapons out of the hands of some of the superstars we see on Optic Gaming, you give yourself the best chance.
That's it, and let's not forget, you have to think on the side of Gen.G. As you heard them talk about on the desk, these are some experienced players. They've been playing not just Infinite for a long time, but competing in this franchise for a long time. They know that right now might be their best chance to take things like Slayers off of Optic, right? They are only going to get better as time goes on. This is still early days. They do not yet have an official tournament under their belt on LAN. Maybe an opportunity. If someone's going to steal a game from Optic, it's a player like RyaNoob, if I'm completely honest.
We've seen it so many times.
We've seen it so many times.
It's not a surprise anymore.
So I think Optic needs to make sure that, obviously they're going to focus up here for the entire event, but I think they need to focus up on Bomb Aquarius, show what the work they've done on Bomb, specifically Bomb Aquarius. That's an important game 1 for them, but in the Slayers, I think they need to not let up. If they already were a little bit shaky on Slayers weeks ago, when you're playing against RyaNoob, you don't want to be shaky at all. So we'll see what Optic comes out with here in their debut in HCS tournament play in 2025.
Well, it's going to be our first look at Optic Gaming. It's our first look on the main stage at Gen.G, off the back of a series as well, so they're certainly going to be warm, and Optic are going to have to be on top of their game early on here in Aquarius to make sure that no mistakes are made. Aqua Bomb going to be our first game type. Dan did a great job of explaining to some of our new viewers exactly how Bomb works. And one thing we'll be keeping our eyes on is just progression of Bomb in this game type as well, as we have Optic on our main stage. Gen.G looking to slay the beast.
Underway here, the debut for the God Squad. Optic Gaming assembled for one reason, to not only win a World Championship, but also defend against all others. 3 dead off the rip. It's a solid opening for Optic.
Bound with the hood up as well. It's Anakin Bound by the looks of things. He looks like he is locked in and ready to take down as many players in front of him, as he has that camo off the rip. Doesn't even land that melee, so the covering fire is coming in from Renegade. This time it's Lqgend. Everybody look at Bound, keep him alive, and they're doing a great job of it.
Oh boy, the thrust comes in as well to stay alive on the util bridge, and here comes the flood from Optic Gaming. It's been 4 dead the entire time.
Bomb is moving into that base as well, and I tell you what, this could be an almost perfect start, and it's looking like it will be a perfect start because 2 players already have their shields taken down. The Bomb is armed, and Optic, well, that is the perfect start to them.
44 seconds of play, and Optic Gaming is on the board. If you wanted any indication just how much they're prepared for this year and also the specific game type that they've been working on, let that be the indicator. Early lead here for Optic. It was flawless off the rip.
And this man on your screen, mate, his name is the Optic Slayer. Back in the Quadrant days, then he got the opportunity on Space Station Gaming, became a world champion, became a season MVP, and now he is one of those players who was handpicked by Formal to bring championships to Optic Gaming. Again, Bomb progression already in that gen. Gen.G got to defend.
KingNick with a very important car 1 flank there to slow down the rush, manages to get behind his opponents in his own util, which makes sure that this game continues only at 1-0. You got to think with 4 dead again, had KingNick not hit that flank, we could already be at 2-0. But Optic Gaming continuing to fly forward. Tons of kills on the board for them here. 18 total, unbelievable.
18 total for Optic, 0 for Common at the start of this game. Has not been able to get on the board as yet, and that is a great indicator of the pressure that they have been under. 3 players at the moment flooding towards top pink just to try and get some sort of space on the map at the moment. Optic have controlled, I would say, 3/4 of the map for the majority of this game. Gen.G just looking for a foothold, but Lqgend with a double kill. Bound inside your base. It's time to move that bomb again, Optic.
I mean, Bound is in demon mode, as you said, with the hood up, and man, is it ever showing. He's 5-2 off the opening teammates. Lqgend is also 7-2, as well as Renegade 8-2 here.
Well, Optic are moving this bomb in, and I think it was about half a second away from actually being reset there. So Gen.G maybe expecting that reset to come in. Not going to be allowed to happen. 2 dead here for Optic, so not going to be an opportunity here to plant. It will be Gen.G who defend. Going to leave that bomb there for a second. It will reset in 15 seconds or so, but that seems like quite a long time.
It does, yeah. When you're playing Optic Gaming, 15 seconds is going to be a slight eternity. Based on the positioning, they should be able to hold that. They will eventually let that bomb reset out. KingNick picks up another car kill. That'll be 2 dead for Optic.
2 dead for Optic. Where's that bomb? Is it progressing up the map here for Gen.G? The reset does come in. So the bomb is down bottom center on its spawn point. And inside of the base, KingNick is looking to clean up Renegade and will do so very, very comfortably. Has the thrust to play with as well. One more for KingNick to use, and he might use that in this 1v1 battle here with Formal. Doesn't need to. It's a triple kill and a killing spree.
Wow.
And here comes that bomb.
How about it? KingNick showing up in a big way here. He's 8-6 now. Bomb will be armed, and here come the bridge spawns.
2 dead. Optic Gaming, it's a desperation play from them. They're not going to get it, and
Wow.
Gen.G strike back. And it's all thanks to the run coming in from KingNick. The killing spree, the kills inside the base off the triple kill. And behind that, his teammates run that bomb in. Gen.G showing this isn't going to be comfortable for Optic.
Wow, beautifully done here. KingNick, by the way, only 1 kill away from Renegade, who leads the entire game. I think another outlier that's surprising at this stage is Optic was dominating, but Formal right now only 2-8 in the game. You have to think, if Formal starts to heat up as well, we could totally see a different tier of Optic Gaming in this game.
What a nade that is, by the way. Lqgend somehow stays alive. Nade comes in. Next focus on the map is going to be for that overshield, but Renegade is going to be about staying alive, and he's not going to be able to because RyaNoob and KingNick will combine, and Bound finds himself as last player alive. Camo in his hands. And manages to escape, so even as last player alive here, Bound has done a great job of just pulling some of the attention away from the bomb, moving towards the Optic base.
Really nicely done. Very selective discipline there with that trigger, making sure you had the help. Coming off the spawn again, but the help comes in from KingNick. That will be camo neutralized, 2 dead for Optic yet again.
A little bit shaky, the shots there from Bound. It was one of those situations where I don't think he really wanted to take that fight,
Yeah,
but
exactly, yeah.
the chances that Common had spotted him with that camo meant he had to engage. Renegade and Lqgend combined, a couple of kills going their way. Optic now 4v2 on the map momentarily.
Lqgend gonna try to fight through this. It was 3 dead. RyaNoob, last player alive, back to the base. Here comes the push up the shroom stairs as well. They should start an arm here once they take down RyaNoob.
A lot of presence inside the base here for Optic as well. Lqgend wins his individual fight, such a difficult fight to try and win, forcing your way back into your base through that pink door from the fridge. KingNick goes down as well, and Lqgend listening so beautifully to the communication that's coming in, and now turns his attention towards that objective. I don't think anyone from Gen.G is in position to stop this, and in fact, RyaNoob was the only one alive. Optic will plant that bomb, and they will arm that bomb, and they'll be up 2-1.
Really nicely done. RyaNoob was in the back of the base. It took them an extra second to get the kill, but they flush him out. They also flush out another player on the pink door, and in the end, they have a really nice patient arm. As you say, they lead now 2-1.
One thing I think that's been impressive so far from Optic is when they've been picking up kills, they haven't been stalling and progressing that bomb up the map as well. Sometimes you'll see teams make that mistake. They'll get too focused on those kills, on the respawn, and before they know it, they've got to give up space to go back and get that bomb, which kind of sets you back a cycle of kills. Optic have done a really good job of making sure the kills mean progression up the map with that bomb before they plant.
Also surprised to see KingNick as one of the last players alive go shroom stairs where the bomb was. I think maybe trying to just get the bomb maybe into his util or further out. Hard to do though to make a meaningful play. I think you're better off looking for damage for spawners there off of that play. It cost him in the end. And now with 6:26 left, a lot of time yet for Optic Gaming to still get a stand going. But can Gen.G answer back? They've done it once before. We'll see if they have more gas left in the tank.
Camo coming up as well. Blank coming in. Common probably thought, I got that one, buddy. You didn't need to do that breaking shot. I'm adding that to my +1 at the end of this game. 2 dead here on either side. Lqgend gets the camo, but can he get away?
And he's gone.
Where's Lqgend gone? Can you find a Lqgend? Yes, he does, but he loses the fight. Common just couldn't get the timing. And finally, Lqgend will go down. It's 3 dead momentarily for Optic here. Where's that bomb? It's in the courtyard. Gen.G are looking to progress again.
Breakingshot still alive on the map, so looking to make a play from the pink side, but right now currently trapped, and they're going to continue stacking up these kills as well.
Goes for the stick there. Maybe recognizing there was going to be multiple players forcing his way towards the position. Didn't connect, and Gen.G now find themselves 2 dead. Formal starting to pick up his pace a little bit with a couple of kills in the feed. Bomb will be reset back to bottom middle.
It's going to be pretty fortunate that Renegade was about to grab and start tossing. It buys them just an extra few seconds here. But will it be enough as the kills are still coming in for Optic Gaming?
Just over 5 minutes left in this first game. Renegade now off the back of the 2 kills to get picked up, starts to progress that bomb. But again, keep your eyes on teams throughout this tournament. When they get the kills, is there attention towards moving that bomb forward? Sneaky little player in the gen for Gen.G. It's Breakingshot who was being a nuisance. Certainly would have frustrated Renegade with his positioning, but with 2 dead here, Formal has a chance to get into that Gen.G base once more.
Taking a look here at some of the outliers already in the game. It's Lqgend 20 and 12. Renegade not far behind him at 19 and 11 with 11 assists as well.
Bomb still being progressed towards those shroom stairs. Lqgend focusing on the camo instead. Will get away with it. A comfortable kill for him, bottom middle. Gen.G will be 2 dead again. Lqgend just slides, again tries, anyway, to slide away to preserve that camouflage, but it's not going to be the life he would have wanted with that. Bounce, taking space in front of that bomb. Common, no shields, but still alive somehow.
Bound manages to stay alive again. The back of the base, and once again, Bound staying alive in your util. Not going to make it easy. Bomb's going to reset, but still, they got to deal with it.
Objective incoming.
Another minute gone off the game clock here. Optic can afford to play this game. They have that advantage. They have that lead. They don't have to really worry about the objective too much if they're picking up the kills to keep the numbers in their favor.
Bound getting shot from the most miscellaneous angles there. High fridge as well as his own flag, and just trying to figure out how to rotate around it.
Bound at the moment, you can see he's just hunting. He's just trying to find members from Gen.G that he can get behind, that he can get a free kill on. If he does that, again, don't have to worry about the objective. Gen.G can't plant that bomb if they're in the death screen, and I think Optic keeping that in mind with the way that they've played these last few moments.
Not over yet. And you thought maybe after that second Optic might run away with it, but instead, Gen.G has more.
This is scary. Yeah, this is a scary moment here, because that bomb was on the shroom stairs. There's multiple players trying to flood and clear out the base for Optic, but if it doesn't go right, then all of a sudden those kills fall and you're on the respawn. Renegade's trying to get an angle. The bomb is being planted here by RyaNoob. No! the geometry. That box has caused more problems in Halo Infinite than any other box.
Who left all those boxes there? My God, guess what? You got to clean up your own house before you push out. You got to clean up those boxes. They're going to cost you. But RyaNoob, really unfortunate grenade. He's sitting screens and tries to pre-nade the new fast jump. That nade sits at his feet. In the end, we've seen many a player complain about miscellaneous things on the ground, and that certainly is going to be one of those examples. They will not arm off of that.
Talk about the advantage that the green wall can bring sometimes. Sometimes it's the bricks from the green wall that are a problem.
But someone scattered around the floor.
Yeah, it can be a problem. 2.5 minutes left in this game. Optic with control of the top of the pink tower, and the bomb firmly in their hands as well, as Bound just keeps trying to move it onto the Gen.G side to keep that pressure on. But Lqgend, even though he's got the camo, finds himself as last alive.
With a thrust as well now. And he's going to milk this time. Just wait. Little touch of the bomb to make sure it doesn't reset, and they're going to slay.
I think Gen.G know that there's a camo player around. They don't want to try to overextend and hyperextend towards that bomb, because the quietness on the map is kind of giving them the indication that something isn't right.
Right, yeah. It should not be this quiet in this game type, which has been 100 miles an hour all the way through. Slows down to a crawl, but here comes the push.
Lqgend now pushing in. Then often see him lose his one. He's got a G-slide and a thrust. I mean, you've seen fighter pilots and the Gs that they have to be subjected to sometimes, but if you're on the receiving end of a 1v1 with Lqgend with those kind of equipment in the back pocket, it really can look something similar. Another win for Lqgend.
Snaps on for his 26th kill in the game. And you can tell they're now just playing game maintenance and game management. Bomb will reset yet again, it looks like. 120 left as 4 were dead.
This is 1 or 2 more rounds of slays here for Optic. If they can win those fights and win those team fights, they should find themselves one up in this series.
Bomb taken.
Bomb is moving though, and there's players dead from Optic. Lqgend's hunting. Lqgend finds his prey.
1 minute remaining.
Come with me, Bomb.
Taken.
I'm taking you towards the Gen.
Such good movement. We've seen him time and time again hit all those G-slides with the bomb, and now just going to drop it and slay here. 50 seconds left on the clock.
Sometimes it takes 2 to deal with Lqgend, and that's what Gen.G recognize. They're wrapped back towards their base, but that bomb is still being kept frustratingly out of their line of sight at the moment by Optic Gaming. And with 30 seconds left, they've got to win these fights on the car side here, Gen.G, if they want any opportunity of tying this game up and sending us towards overtime. But the movement from Bound, and again, the thrust is good. And with 20 seconds or so left and a camo in their hands, it's 4 dead for Gen.G. And this is looking like Optic's little victory lap ahead of a 1-0 series lead.
As you said, the micro there from Bound would be so frustrating to play against. He's picking up more kills. 4 dead again. 7 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, this is a little bit of stat padding here from Optic Gaming. Everybody's going to be spawning together. Group spawn's going to come in, but there's not even an opportunity for them to get back on the map, as Optic Gaming will strike first with a real element of control in that last 5 minutes of gameplay.
And not just that, but even elegance to the gameplay from what we saw there. And that's how you want Optic Gaming, if you're an Optic fan, to open up their tournament and their season on a game type that we've heard from them on the Optic podcast that they were specifically working on, and it showed here. Perfect game management, amazing slaying, moving the bomb when they needed to. Also, you saw a lot of solo efforts there. Last player alive, Lqgend with the camo, moments like that bought them an extra, probably took easily 70, 80 seconds off the clock in different moments like that. It's perfect from Optic Gaming, and even though we saw Gen.G get on the board.
Oh my Renegade.
26
and 18 is impressive.
With 19.
Drops 19 assists alongside him.
We gotta see the damage.
That's crazy stats.
That's gonna be meaty.
Lqgend 29 and 17 as well. 27 and 17 for Bound. A little plus 10 for him. Formal picks it up towards the end of the game, but there's only so many kills to go around. And when you're looking at damage, Formal second most damage in the lobby.
Exactly. I mean, just take a look at
everything's working.
That amount of damage. Look how close they are. Rarely do you see. I mean, of course, Lqgend's still within fighting distance as well, but Bound, Renegade, and Formal all within around 100 points of damage of one another. That's remarkable, the distribution of damage on that team.
One thing that was a standout statistic there for me was actually damage taken. You see how low Lqgend's was comparatively to the rest of Optic Gaming. That shows how good he is at playing his life. How good he is at just making sure that he isn't taking fights he doesn't need to.
I mean, you saw him all game. He's G-sliding as he's running bomb, and he's just so selective on the fights that he takes and the angles. And guess what? When he shows up, he wins the fight. Otherwise, you're not even going to see him on the map.
I mean, there's a couple of moments there for Gen.G that they'll look back on and be like, That was unfortunate.
Yep.
One big one, of course, where the brick from the green wall fell kindly inside the Optic base, which may or may not, we don't know, of course, denied a bomb plant opportunity, but they did get that bomb on the board. They're pretty clean by doing so, and they forced Optic to maybe refocus a little bit when that game was tied up. But ever since Optic got that second bomb armed and they got that point on the board, the control was very impressive from them.
It really was. I think if people were kind of wondering, okay, we've already heard from Formal, we've heard from this team that this isn't one of their better game types and they had work to do over the past 2 weeks. If you saw this, you're probably thinking, okay, I know it's Gen.G, I know they're not one of the, one of our top 4 seeds of this event. However, in terms of textbook gameplay, that from Bound, I mean, that is like, how do you play against that? There's a player jumping over you, pop-shotting you, and then the second you turn around, he's going to thrust out of the way. Beautifully done. It's a 2-1 Aquarius win, though I will say, in terms of game management, it felt even more controlled from Optic Gaming. That will bring us now to a Game 2 Slayer live fire.
So Slayers, we always talk about being the opportunity for a lower seed to steal something away, but as we look at Lqgend and we look at the duo, this is a duo that's been together for quite some time now. You're looking at the KDs from the 2024 season, and there's a season MVP on the right-hand side there, and there is nothing disappointing about those statistics. You can see why Formal was straight into those early conversations when he picked up who he wanted to pick up.
Absolutely, and you even heard a lot of the drama of how difficult it was to assemble these exact players and how something like this roster was close to happening last year. But due to the way that SSG made their team moves, of course, that roster was instead assembled, wins a world championship, and then to make sure that they don't let anyone best that roster, they assemble what is now being rumored as a God Squad, but we're going to need to see wins on the board this season for them to confirm that title. But as you say, in the slaying department, not surprising to see how well they did last year. They're going to look to bring that same slaying prowess into this year as well. And as we heard, Optic Slayers, if you look back 6 weeks ago, not their strongest game type. They have made huge improvements in the game type overall, and given the frequency at which you will see Slayers in every series, needs to be a priority for them. This is going to be their first Slayer debut on LAN.
Well, live fire is going to be the battleground. 50 kills is the name of the game. Sniper rifle, of course, going to be influential. I've got my eyes on Renegade here on live fire. Love the way that he takes so many creative angles when he has that weapon in his hands, and certainly can turn 1 kill into 3 very, very quickly. And a focus for Optic Gaming coming into this event, based off of what we saw at the KSAN event in the build-up to the kickoff here in Arlington, was if Optic go down, it's about keeping it close, not letting those deaths start to snowball. We'll see what they can do here in game number 2.
All right, underway. Is it an opportunity for Gen.G, who had their moments of brilliance in game number 1? Is it a chance for them to get back into this series, maybe catch Optic Gaming off guard?
Well, even though it's 1-1, Renegade gets away with that sniper rifle. But playing the opposite side of the map to the camo at the moment, you imagine he's going to try and rotate to have an influence on where that does go. Indeed, he's going to rotate to the tower to create some angles, but KingNick, I think, just stole away with that. Remember, if Gen.G certainly did, it's Breakingshot, actually, who gets away with it. Legend's flying in, and Legend won't even get to hit the QT.
Wow.
Because there's 2 players he had to deal with.
They even avoid that trade for a second. This is a big moment for Breakingshot with this camo, as they have a momentary lead here, and they can extend this further if he plays this correctly.
Gotta find Renegade, though. Gotta find Renegade in this situation. Renegade has not been taken down, even though they were picking up kills, they were picking up space. Renegade's still alive with this sniper rifle. And he lives to fight another day. Legend keeps him alive a little bit longer. KingNick finally takes Legend down, but Formal, again, take down KingNick, and Renegade's still surviving, even though kills are being picked up with this snipe.
So what Renegade does here, they kept the game within 3, but Gen.G does play that camo well in the end. They maintain the lead. However, not enough. Still just a 2-kill lead for them.
So throughout the carnage, it felt like Renegade was just playing keep away, knowing how valuable this weapon was. Off the back of the camo. Like you mentioned, it was a narrow lead, but 1 bullet from Renegade ties the game up.
4 dead. Just like that, just like that. The game turns, like you said, Renegade keeping the snipe, not worried about going down by 3 to the camo. Instead, on the next rotation, they hold snipe, and they have a perfect 4 dead to now take a 1-kill lead.
This flank he's got as well. Ooh, it's a good trade coming out from KingNick, though. It's only 2 kills with the power weapon in their hands for Renegade and Optic Gaming. 1-kill advantage on their side at the moment, as KingNick is just going to back up to try and support a teammate, but Formal slides out immediately to find his 4th of the game. 4 and 3 for Formal at the start of this one.
What a swing there on these last few kills. Back-to-back, essentially 4 deads for Optic to just take a lead. Oh boy, Formal might get away with this as well. He gets to stick off the wall with the repulse. making it look way too easy. Thought it might have been a challenge in the window. Instead, it's a 5-kill lead for Optic Gaming.
It's not very often you can say this, but I feel like RyaNoob just got out-nerded in that situation with a repulse sticky coming in from Formal. Tried to play that obnoxious little corner to look for a beatdown trade, but wasn't allowed to do so. Formal now gets that camo, and off the back of that play and everything that's happened on the map in the last 30 seconds, there is the most distinctive lead we have seen in this game for Optic. 17-11 they lead.
Once again, good trigger discipline here from Formal. Tries to get the kill on Nest, can't just yet, so not gonna get greedy. Gonna just wait till it comes to him. Breakingshot's going nuts trying to figure out where Formal might be over by Nest.
Breakingshot's still alive, even though it might not be for much longer as Legend's gonna fly in. But one thing I love about that play from Formal there is he realized he was isolated, right? Doesn't want to try and put himself in a position where he can get traded out in that fight with Camo. Knows the value, so just backs up, waits for a play to be made, and he can react to it. And off the back of it, Optic are going to continue to keep that lead. 21-16. Breakingshot now on our screens with a chance to pull it back with his snipe in his hands.
See what they can do here. 5-kill lead, so not over just yet. An important no-scope. Maybe he can even hit a second one on the big door. Not going to be easy, though. And with 2 dead for each side. And now a 5-kill lead for Optic Gaming. Let's get to a listen-in with Optic.
Bottom at 20.
Dice by himself. Dice by himself.
3 dice for now. Dice and a Gilbo or something, Dice.
I'm hitting elbow.
Elbow
weak.
It could be A plant. They could be coming A plant from white wall.
Okay, top there.
I'd be behind you, Sad. Be careful.
Top mid.
Top there,
Just got needy. Yeah, kill me top there.
Two set here.
Watch out, 3 minutes.
Elbow.
Okay, last guy.
Tires.
Clear.
All around.
Two guys, March right. Nice. Bottom mid again, bottom mid going red. Back mid going big door. Back mid going big door. Big. August bottom mid. And red. Post OP. I spawned tower. Nest, one again, nest time good.
Playing towards green here. Playing towards green.
Training nest time good. Training nest time good.
We're all 4 here. We're all 4. Two dead.
Let's go Breakingshot. Probably cuts.
Camo's in 20, guys. Camo 20.
Go tower, John. Come on.
I think it's spawning.
Then cuts. One spin good.
Top
in the very weak.
Shit down.
I'll get back green again.
2 dead, 3.
Go to 8 plat. He's 8 plat.
That's last guy.
He went top mid. Might be like top mid door.
Camo's up.
I'm watching your plat.
Bottom mid.
Well, Optic comes as you would expect. The lead's still in their hands as well. So they jump out, they listen in. It's a 6-kill advantage, and Renegade, he's got that next camo.
Yeah, really big swing of plays there. There was a moment where Gen.G could have gotten back in this game, and you heard Lunchbox in the comms saying, we're all here. And Formal with a really nice job to get damage from big door all the way to Nest, picks up the kill, gets damage back green, then they rotate out. It could have been dicey there, but instead they maintain an 8-kill lead.
2 players back green. Renegade gets a little bit of a surprise, but recognizes that help is on the way, and indeed that help is now arriving, and somehow he comes out of it with a kill.
He wants the extra challenge.
And Gen.G find themselves 3 dead. It's 41-32. Optic on the home stretch.
Renegade's like, this is a bit too easy. I'm going to nade myself before I fly out of this angle.
I respect it.
Just to give myself a little bit more of a challenge. All skulls on for Renegade. 41-33 on the home stretch.
Sniper rifle up as well. Common and RyaNoob find 2 to keep it a little bit interesting, but much like the story at the start of this game, it's repeating itself at the end. Sniper rifle in the hands of Renegade. RyaNoob does not give him an easy opportunity to hit a shot.
Loved what I heard from Optic. Even when things got close, there was no panic in the comms. They're just playing their game, and I think that's what you expect to see with a roster of this caliber. Breakingshot will QT out, not much interest in learning about the rest of that. And just like that, Renegade's hitting body shots, but has not connected. It's 37-41, has to play the snipe. And what was an 8-kill lead at 38-30 is now a 4-kill game, 42-38. An enormous rally back from Gen.G in the late game.
It really is. A couple of big kills being picked up, though, by Optic. It's 3 dead for Gen.G. But important that Renegade threw that snipe off the map. If Gen.G get that in their hands, this game and the pace of this game falls into their favor, and they have a chance to really make this comeback. But now it's just about trades for Optic Gaming. RyaNoob finds one. KingNick escapes. Or no, he doesn't, because Bound is there to clean up that damage, and Formal now looking to close this out.
Formal getting back to tower as fast as he can. Trying to help these angles, and look at this. They're trying to collapse to rotate here from Gen.G to get out of the way of Camo and Cuts. Instead, they're going to try to play this from house, but just like that, it's 48 on the board, 2 to go for Optic.
Coming to Breakingshot get 2 though. And they're making them sweat for this one, Gen.G. They're really making them work for it. Camo cupping up as well. Optic gonna just play for the trades around this.
Optic likely just gonna bait, as you say. Not even worry about snagging it. They can probably just milk the damage here. 48-44, they get pushed back though.
Hold up just a minute.
Here's the flank. Big from Formal.
Formal makes the play. Formal makes the flank. And with that, it will close out for Optic Gaming. They're 2 good up in this series.
Gen.G tries to take advantage of that damage on dummies and cuts without any presence top mid. That leaves the flank open for Formal to go bags. And as you saw, there was no one even watching A bags as well. It's great awareness, unsurprisingly, from one of the best to ever do it. Formal, the man on your screen, will pick up the last 2 kills and ensure that Optic goes up with a 2-0 lead after a 50-45 live fire Slayer. And I would say overall, Optic Gaming playing the Slayer they wanted to, right? Getting up early. We did see them lose a few leads, however, making sure to never lose control of the game.
Yeah, just really did a good job of, again, just not making sure that those deaths started to snowball. Make sure that they stayed alive, played their lives if they were last or one of the last 2 alive. Making sure you get out with trades is so important in those situations. Worth its value in gold, not just for keeping the score close, but allowing your teammates to get back on the map without having too much pressure onto them. And as we look at the series layout now in Pool B, in this best of 5, it's CTF Forbidden as our game at number 3 and Optic looking to close out.
And with the momentum off those 2, you expect them to come into this game number 3 just as hot. I think Gen.G gonna look back at that and think, man, we were able to bring back a game that was an 8-kill deficit. There's more we left on the table. This shot from Renegade, by the way, just flying in. And this entire spree, actually, from Renegade was a great way to start the game from them. And let's not forget, Gen.G was leading early, but it was essentially right around this mark here, where Optic Gaming just showed no signs of slowing and put a lot of kills on the board.
A couple of highlights coming in from Gen.G players, but you can see whenever you're on a Gen.G point of view, you can feel the pressure that they're under on the map, right? They don't feel like they have a lot of space on the map. They're not the ones who have control a lot of the times in the fights they're taking. This is the flank from Formal. This is such a good experienced play from Formal in that situation. He knows that Gen.G, backs against the wall, don't have many deaths to play with, so we're going to be all in wherever they are. Make that little play, take that extra second, play off damage. The route was free, he recognized it, cleans up the damage, and easy double kill to secure it. And now we head towards Forbidden. I'm very excited to see who's actually going to pick the sniper up for Optic Gaming. Is it going to be Renegade who's going to pick it up? And that is a sign that everybody in this room who is sat at home loves to see. Congratulations to you. That is my favorite sign I've ever seen.
Honestly, I have chills. The cancer reverse sweep. Hell yeah. Glad to have you here with us in this room. That is amazing. Green Wall fans showing up in a big way. Great to have them with us here in the building, and we always know they are loud and proud. And I would say after seeing that sign, for even more good reason to be behind this squad, seeing what they could do this season.
See what it means to the fans, you can see what it means to the players as well, and you're never disappointed by the turnout from Optic Gaming when we're here in Arlington as well. Always here to support the boys, and I think they're just as desperate as anyone to see a win. They want to see this team succeed as well. They want to see Formal get back on top after one of the most heartbreaking seasons you can probably put yourself through as a player who is synonymous with winning. Synonymous with being in grand finals and winning them as well. That record, that looks a little bit less than it did after what happened last year, but starting off with a 3-0 here on the main stage against Gen.G is the perfect way to just set the pace for what we can expect from Optic.
And just to once again paint the picture of how important this year is to Formal and Optic Gaming, Formal on the record saying he would not have played this year unless he had this exact team. These 4 members, they've been trying to make it happen for a long time. And he would not be on this main stage if they didn't get this exact configuration of players. And this is their chance to prove why they did it here in their own arena. A historic opportunity. We're underway in game number 3.
CTF Forbidden, first to 3 flags, is going to take home this game. If Gen.G got something to say in this series, they've kept it close. And they've kept it somewhat respectable in these games, but the difference makers have certainly been highlighted on the side of Optic Gaming. It's RyaNoob who gets away with that first overshot though.
3 dead, he's already getting absolutely pummeled with shots. And now gonna get flooded. Wins the 1 and stays alive. However, there's more flood coming. Gonna do his best to stay alive for his spawning teammates, but not gonna be easy.
Lqgend, who's got the sniper rifle here for Optic Gaming. Interesting to see what he can do. Looks like he's coming under a little bit of pressure in himself. He knows that there's a player above him. But if I know Lqgend,
Which you do.
He's not going to be afraid to take this. Oh, and almost snaps, but a little bit of patience shown there by Breakingshot to not show. Rewards him with that kill, but here's Formal. And there's the first headshot from his POV we'll see this weekend.
Formal through the Ivy, beautiful shot there. As you said, Breakingshot just making himself look like a block of ancient stone. Doing well. through.
That's Ivy, that is.
That is Ivy indeed. And still doing damage here. Formal with a 4-0 opening, looking for the killing spree.
And there it is! Oh, he lines it up, he knocks him down, and RyaNoob gets bodied as well. Formal, imperious. Standing tall, top center with his sniper rifle. Not good signs for Gen.G.
We talk about Formal choosing to assemble this roster, choosing to play with his roster. Head on a swivel, by the way, still 2 dead as that flag is underway. So much pressure then on this roster as a result. The damage he's output in the last 90 seconds of gameplay is unbelievable, as that flag will be continuing on the move.
Looks like that flag will be able to go home, and by the looks of things, there'll be more players challenging Formal. Finally going to be taken down, but not without doing enough damage for Lqgend to run that first flag home. Overshield is up top middle in now. 1 second, I was going to say. Breakingshot's going to grab it, and now there's an opportunity for Gen.G with this overshield, maybe to look for a counter.
Well, it's a big trade that does come in from Bound, however, it's still 2 dead. They need to get this kill on Formal. That flag can have very large hitbox when you're trying to shoot around it. Breakingshot is going to start this run. Knows he has to maybe turn around and fight Formal here, but Formal being a nuisance.
So annoying! This is so annoying!
Unbelievable.
That survivability from Formal is why that flag isn't moving. You highlighted perfectly. Breakingshot knew he had to deal with Formal. So he has to start a step, he has to turn around, and Formal's just like, okay, kill me. Okay, kill me.
Formal just stays there.
Are you gonna kill me?
Yeah, but while Lqgend is the one that actually flies up main ramp off the respawn. Beautifully done. That flag will go back home, and just when you think you have the flag away and you've done the hard work, they say no. Bound tries to come in, might even win this one against KingNick. 3rd person here. In the end, it will be traded out. 2 dead for each side.
Little gift left by Bound there with that sticky grenade. Sure, it wouldn't have been received quite as well from the Gen.G member, but Lqgend now with a sniper rifle in his hand, not for the first time in this game. Optic playing a little bit of defense at the moment. I think they want to keep eyes on that Gen.G sniper as well. They don't want to let that one get picked up uncontested.
Lqgend being very careful to stay alive here. And right now, probably has a little bit of a ring around the rosy with a Breakingshot to win. That was just wild from a first-person point of view. 3 dead for Gen.G. KingNick was your last player alive. He had a slow start, but now he's actually positive. I believe he was 0-4, maybe even 0-5 at one point, now 7-6, so he has rallied back to apply the pressure.
That was an extraordinary zoom coming in from Lqgend.
That was a peek inside Lqgend's brain.
That really was. Renegade trying to hold off the double rat tunnel push actually coming in from Gen.G here. It's an unorthodox strategy, but
good
unorthodox when you're looking at teams the likes of RyaNoob on is something that we come to expect. But Optic were ready for it. Still 1 up in this, 8 minutes left. Still time for Gen.G as the overshield pops now.
Great trade from Renegade there. When you're in the back of your base like that pin, if you can fly out and make sure you force that trade, that's going to just slow down the progress, especially on a map like this where it feels like you need every single piece of the puzzle together and for it to be a Wednesday and the weather to be perfect if you're going to be running a flag. So simply getting the trade in the back of the base is going to slow things down quite a bit. 3 dead.
Formal with a sniper in his hands. Last time we saw it on our screens, he was hitting heads, he was hitting bodies, he was hitting anything that was dressed in red. And as a cheeky little flagpole comes in now from Lqgend, Formal's going to have to hit some more. A couple of players have fallen from Optic.
Oh my!
Manages to somehow turn it around on Common.
You can't give him that many chances.
I was going to say, you can't let him get away with that.
Yeah.
Because then he does this.
You can't give him 3 separate shots and opportunities to disengage, then re-engage. He's statistically, this man's going to hit those, and honestly, even with worse odds, he'd hit them. So you cannot give Formal chances like that to continue running the map. He's going to even pick up more kills, it looks like. Finally taken down, but it took a small army and several dynamos.
Yeah, the payload had to be completely used up to take down Formal there. Shot grenades, frag grenades.
Here we go, though.
But it's working.
2 dead.
2 dead, though. Optic Gaming might be able to make a last-second stand here. There's somebody being a nuisance in the back of the base, and if I'm not mistaken, his name is Lqgend. KingNick is now under all sorts of pressure, and what was looking like a Gen.G opportunity to cap might be Optic looking for a counter cap themselves.
KingNick has done so well to somehow stay alive on the Mohawk. Just playing his angle so well. He had to guess a lot of that. A lot of that work was blind, but now he knows he needs to flush out this last kill on Lqgend. Is able to do so, but here comes Bound trying to fly in for the re.
Where are the respawners from Gen.G? That's the question. Someone's got to gonna go for the touch here. It's a big 1v1 win from Bound. It's 3 dead here for Gen.G, and he gets that return. It's a big play, and that flag is moving as well. It's actually been sent home, excuse me, on the Optic side. So both flags back at home, and it's Optic with the last second stand. But you got to look at the feel for KingNick a little bit there. He did everything he could in that situation.
Yeah, he bought a lot of time for the squad. You have to wonder, should he maybe have tried to hug flag side sooner, gotten away from the Mohawk? It's easy for us in the caster booth to ask those questions. I think, as you said, he did all that he really could do to allow his spawning teammates to help apply pressure. But in the end, Optic's pressure on the main ramp side, of course, was perfect. And we will stay here at 1-0. So Gen.G showing that they can not just get the flag off the stand, but get it back. They've now got 5:30 left to get something else going. KingNick picks up 2 in the feed.
If I'm not mistaken, Breakingshot actually got the last overshield, but he was dealt with pretty handily by Optic Gaming. So that over's not going to be too influential in the next few moments of gameplay. It's going to be more about the brute force and the plays that are coming in from Lqgend, who is behind enemy lines, winning his ones, and now trying to formulate a sneaky little flag route, but for some reason, RyaNoob's down in the rat tunnel.
Renegade tries to stay alive, but a classic battle, RyaNoob versus Renegade. And this time, RyaNoob will grab that snipe. Also has 1 thrust that's going to help him get out of dodge. Here comes the pressure. It was 2 dead for Optic Gaming.
Nice shot from RyaNoob.
Wow.
Nice cleanup from RyaNoob as well. Doesn't let the damage go unrewarded. Gen.G now with a good setup on the map here. Good pressure. Optic Gaming respawning right in the back of their flag in the dark hallways. Thrust isn't good enough to get him out of that situation. There's still pressure here inside the base. Bound with that kill might have just stoked the fires for a few seconds here and calmed down those flames, and Optic can now get a little bit of map control once more.
It's a really unlucky thrust from RyaNoob there. He tries to thrust out of the battle, completely disengage. Instead, he thrusts off of the pillar and hut, which keeps him in the sightline of Formal and really provides Formal with a pretty easy kill in the end to get them out of dodge.
Just over 4 minutes left in this game. Optic still only the 1 flag on the board, which gives Gen.G a lot of hope that with 1 push, all the pieces falling in the way that they would want to, there's a chance to tie this game up. Overshield the next point, again, for both teams to fight for. Optic look like they have top middle control. Bounce trying to find a couple of angles. Not quite the route he would have wanted to take. But sometimes
it works out.
It works out for you, but KingNick with a big win, a double kill for him.
Lots of melees coming in there. It's going to be 4 dead for a second, 3 dead for each side. It's a 1v1. Both flags actually being pulled. Very rare opportunity there to see both flags being pulled simultaneously by the only 2 players alive on the map. So a little bit of a standoff here and kind of non-traditional battles to fight each of those players out of the corresponding bases.
Oh my god, this is a messy fight, but Renegade will win it. He had a little bit of an advantage with that thrust that made the battle a little more difficult to predict for Breakingshot, but the win was the one that Renegade picked up. Flags are away from base at the moment, but not too far. You can see that Formal is looking for kills. He's looking to pressure Gen.G off the respawn. He's doing a great job of doing so.
Formal not afraid. Look at this, with no shield, just challenging to top mid and still dealing a whole lot. Even picks up the kill on Breakingshot as well. We talked about Formal. There are levels to this man, and he is firing on all cylinders.
That flag is moving as well, and with the output of damage and Gen.G just being pressured in the back of their base off spawn, Formal damage converted into flag capped. It's Renegade who runs it home, but you have to say, it was all Formal, just pinning the back of the base.
You talk about things that you can't let him do. It's a play like that. He was no shield when he started challenging Breakingshot from the Mohawk, and then he goes up to the hut to finish the kill essentially single-handedly from our point of view. And it's plays like that that will just blow games wide open.
Well, Gen.G looking to respond here, and it's KingNick who's in the Formal position that we saw a few moments ago, but the issue here for Optic is its defensive stand for them this time around. RyaNoob's got a sniper rifle. KingNick is still pressurizing respawners, and now he's going to turn his attention to that flag. It's 2 dead for Optic, and Gen.G, if they can get around this corner, and 3 dead now for Optic. Wow. Renegade last alive. Gen.G should be able to put this one home and make this a dicey last 2 minutes for Optic.
And they are going to have to put the pedal right back down once again. This flag should go based on the timing of the spawners. It will indeed. We're 2-1 here, less than 2 minutes left, and here comes Breakingshot.
There's a double cap opportunity here because Breakingshot has the overshield, and Optic haven't got up the map whatsoever. They're still trapped in the back of their base. Only one has fallen at the moment as they try to be obnoxious, and instead Breakingshot says, you can stay there. I'm going to run this flag.
There's going to be OEs from the Optic side. Flag going to come in low. We have another battle to fight top mid without a doubt. Here comes the overextension.
2 dead.
3 dead.
Breakingshot last alive and now has to think about
how does he play
picking up some kills, defending that flag long enough for his team to get back on the map. But here's Lqgend, here's Formal, and they're bringing the flag straight towards him. Gonna get that return, worry about the cap probably afterwards because they have that lead. And this could be the moment, if Optic can clear out their base, that they can take home this series.
Not over just yet. There are 3 overextensions coming in here. Formal's now pinned by those and the top mid angle. This is not over yet here. 1 minute on the clock.
Whatever way this team fight goes, could be Optic winning the game, winning the series, or it could be Gen.G countercapping and sending us to overtime. 2 dead for Optic. They do get that return. Bound gets stuck on the knee. But it looks like Optic have managed to just about clear out their base for now. They're still clearing out the final members, but Optic, I think all the decisions they had to make there to win this game, they made correctly.
They did indeed. Now, with only 36 seconds left, it would have to be an unbelievable timing here on the push. It's coming in from the Lily side and the Hut side. We'll see if they can get the picks they need. They can still get a flagpole here.
Breakingshot gets taken down, though. Formal stands tall in those 1v1s, which he was so vocal about. It's 4 dead for Gen.G. It's Optic Gaming who will hold, and with 15 seconds left on the game clock, I don't think anyone from Gen.G will be able to get across the map in time to get that flag moving. Optic Gaming should take this one home 3-0 in the series with a 2-1 win here on Capture the Flag Forbidden.
Beautifully done once again here. The clock will strike 0. The green wall loves it in the building. And that means you've got Optic Gaming with a 3-0 series win in their debut in 2025, not just at this event in their own building, but also for the season as well. And Optic Gaming fans, they waited all day in this arena to see this series, and they're very happy with the end result. I believe it is once again a story of game management from Optic Gaming. It's just a 2-1 win, but they did it with elegance and style.
I think the big thing for me was just the end of that game where the Gen.G pressure came in, 2 flags away from home. Every decision that was made by Optic Gaming wasn't about capping flags, it was about winning games.
Yep.
And I think they did a really good job of just deciphering what the most important thing was on the map to do at that point. And by doing so, they close it out. But like you say, you look at the series score, it looks close, but there was an element of control for Optic in all of it.
I think anyone who maybe is only catching the tail end of this series, first of all, shame on you, you missed a good one.
How dare you?
But seeing 2 2-1s and a 50-45, you're probably thinking, Gen.G really pushed them against the wall. I think in terms of the way that Optic played every single game, it was actually the opposite. I don't think Optic was at any point across these 3 games shaking in their boots, worried about the gameplay. I think each time we heard listen-ins, they sounded calm, they sounded good. In the end, we're taking a look at some of these numbers. Renegade 23 and 21. Lqgend there with 15 and 15. Interesting stat line for him, but all that matters at the end of the day is the 3-0. And Optic Gaming will have a very strong opening performance of the 2025 season.
And of course, up next for Optic, a little bit later on, it's going to be Nemesis, who took down Gen.G 3-1. So, if you're looking at the scores, that could be a good series to keep your eyes on a little bit later. For Gen.G, certainly some good signs in that series, good moments for them, but I think it's understandable. Optic just never really felt troubled where in any of those games they were at risk of losing them.
I think, it's all the decisions down the line, right? If you look at the domino effect of everything they were doing, they always set themselves up for good positioning, not just in terms of the gameplay, but the scoreboard, right? They got early leads in all of these games, which gave them kill cushions, flag cushions, opportunities to make sure that even if they go 3 dead, they can bounce back from it. And we saw Gen.G, let's not forget, dead on the board here. They also had an opportunity for the double cap, but Optic defended that so well.
Yeah, like you say, game management, right? You let that first flag go. Think about the score. We've got 2 flags, they can have 1. Let's defend our base, let's fight back out. We know they have an overshield. Let's use our numbers, the 3v4 that we have while that flag's being run, to try and deal with the overshield and keep our base safe. And that's exactly what Optic Gaming do. That's your series layout. That's how things went. 2-1 Assault on Aquarius, 50-45 Live Fire Slayer, and a 2-1 win on Forbidden CTF.
Got Blaze here on the stage with one of our Optic Gaming players, and I think it is one of the new additions that we'll hear from in just a moment after a great series from him. Without a doubt, it's going to be Blaze with Bound. Let's throw it over.